Welcome back, everybody, to another video with your boy Risky, and today we're going to be covering the Mightiest Mark Emboar. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to do solo the Mightiest Mark Emboar raid that runs from the 14th of June to the 16th of June 2024 and will return on the 21st of June and will end on the 23rd of June 2024. So let's get into today's build. Today's build is a level 100 Garchomp with a ground Tera type and a Shell Bell as its held item. The moveset that we're going to be running is Earthquake, Breaking Swipe, Swords Dance, and Rain Dance. Breaking Swipe does require you to have access to the DLC. And so if you do not have access to the DLC, you can join the Discord in the description below. And there we have a community of people who are willing to help out and get you access to Breaking Swipe if you do not have the DLC. So no fret to that. In terms of our EVs, we put all of our EVs in HP and attack with an Adamant Nature, and we put the remaining amount into our speed. Just because I don't believe that the last 4 points matter where you put them. The ability is Sand Veil. That is so that we can avoid Sandstorm if we decide to use this online against or with other people. Now, let's get into the raid event information. So in today's raid, we have a level 100 Emboar with the Reckless ability. It will have moves Flare Blitz, Drain Punch, Wild Charge, and Head Smash, with additional moves being Bulk Up and Heat Crash. It will also have the Electric Tera type and Never Be Shiny with the Mightiest Mark, Brave Nature, and a 40 times HP multiplier. Its scripted actions are the shield will activate at 90% HP or 80% time remaining. It will reset the player's stats at 90% of the time remaining. It will reset its own stats at 80% time remaining and 55% of HP remaining. It will then use 2 consecutive bulk ups at 40% of its HP remaining, and it will use a Heat Crash at 20% of its HP remaining. Emboar also will drop XP shards, HP ups, Electric Tera shards, TM 147, and an ability patch on the first time you kill it. It will then have a 1% for all of those items, except for Tera shards and your normal drop chance for all of those. We also have a 3% for all of the Urban Mysticas to drop, and it will drop just one of each at a 3% chance. So, all right, now that we're in the raid, we have a good setup. So the first 3 turns, we're going to be using Breaking Swipe. So some more information about this raid is something that's going to be very helpful is having a Intimidator on your team, and that could be Tauros, Arcanine, or Staraptor. The other really good one is Gardevoir, as we have in our raid. Gardevoir is going to be helping with Life Dew, which is going to help keep us topped up, so we shouldn't have much of an issue with HP. And then obviously Intimidate reduces the opposing Pokemon's attack stat, which means that we're going to be taking even less damage. A crit there is not too helpful, but we should still be fine. A burn is even better for us because it's also a attack reducer. So that's going to make us even less likely to faint from this. But that was turn 3 of Breaking Swipe. So it should now reset our stats and set up its shield after this Drain Punch. And that is almost the case. Takes a minute for the stuff to get around. So it sets up the shield and it will reset our stats, which means that we are all well within the range of taking the time to do our setup, which is turns 4 through 6. Turns 4 through 6, we're going to set up Swords Dance. So we're going to use 3 of those. Swords Dance gives a +2 to your attack, meaning that after 3 turns you have +6, which is maxed out attack stat. and that will allow us to better deal damage through this shield. So we're gonna get those in, and then our next the next turn after that is another setup prior to terastallizing. And that setup move is a non-terrored Earthquake. The reason why we use a non-terrored Earthquake is so that we can get the shield in a better spot for us to uh, be able to take down its shield after 2 turns instead of using 3 full turns of Earthquake. And it also sets up the timings to be just right so that it resets its own stats at a different time. So now we're going to use 1 turn of Earthquake, and this gets its shield, like I said, in a better spot so that now after 2 turns of Earthquake, after Tera, it should drop its shield just perfectly. And because of its attack drop from the Intimidate, we're not taking a whole lot of damage. And because of Gardevoir's Life Dew, we are staying topped up, which is very, very good. This is probably one of the more optimal teams to get. I think the only thing that could have made this team better is if we had Staraptor or Arcanine as instead of Drifloon, because those two added just 2 Intimidators means that it's dropping even faster, but by no means is it a requirement. So after the first Earthquake, it puts it about half or 1 Earthquake damage away, and then it will reset its stats. So we're going to use 1 more Earthquake. And as long as its shield drops after these 2 Earthquakes, we should be good to use Rain Dance. If you do not drop its shield after 2 Earthquakes, you can use another Breaking Swipe to drop its shield, and then use Rain Dance. You need Rain Dance to be right after you drop, after it resets its effect, or resets its stats, and after it drops its shield, to better help reduce the damage from fire attacks. And then after you use your Rain Dance, you're just going to Earthquake until it faints. If at any point during this that you get crit and faint, it is not entirely over. You do have a possibility of RNG being on your side. It looks like we're getting the scripted bulk ups, which are good because the Intimidate should have dropped his attack enough to where he's still not doing a whole lot of damage. Plus he's burned, which is even better. But the if you get KO'd after a crit, you can use Swords Dance once and then hope that you get hit with he attempts to use Wild Charge on you. That way you are, because you're immune to Wild Charge anyway. But in this particular instance, we did not need to, and it looks like we are about to KO it next turn, I believe. And so yeah, you'll use 1 Swords Dance and then Earthquake until it faints. If you're not able to, just reset until you get a Intimidator or 2 and possibly a Gardevoir. Remember, a Bloliv is completely a run killer. Do not waste your time. It is not worth your time to even attempt to do it. A Bloliv reduces the damage on Earthquake, and it because of the reduction in damage, you're just never going to be able to do it. Even though you're healing, you're still getting beaten by the inability to do the max amount of damage you need to do. But that looks like we KO'd it. Should have KO'd it. That's strange. His HP bar is almost gone. There we go. Looks like we KO'd it. So we're going to go ahead and catch our Emboar. And that is how you do this raid. It is a little RNG based. So remember, you do need at least 1 Intimidator. You do not need the Gardevoir. The Gardevoir is very, very, very helpful. but you should be able to do this with 1 Intimidator and no Gardevoir, or 2 Intimidators. If you get what I would consider a God roll on teammates, that would be 2 Intimidators and Gardevoir. It would be massive. We got ourselves a Sour Herba Mystica, TM147, a ability patch, and some candies. So that is the end of today's episode. If you guys did enjoy this one, please do remember to smash that like button. If this was informative and you have not already, please consider subscribing. It would be greatly appreciated. But that, like I said, is all I have for today. If you guys did enjoy this one, I will see you guys next time. And thanks again for watching. Until next time, guys, don't forget to stay frosty. Bye-bye!